Boom! We are live. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga Live. We have a busy day today. As always, David Green will be joining us here in a couple minutes. We'll be doing some live trading with Mr. Green. And then at around 12:20, Rob Roy from Wealth Builders HQ will join us. We'll see what Rob's been watching. But we've got a busy week in terms of earnings this afternoon. Netflix reports. We will have Tesla tomorrow afternoon. We have a lot of people kind of writing in, asking us about Tesla's earnings. Looking forward to that one for sure. Some other big ones as well this week. Let me go ahead and get that calendar pulled up. So we've got, let me just go ahead and share my screen, will be easier. Some people are more visual learners. All right, so we've got Netflix this afternoon. Like I said, Micron, JB Hunt, Interactive Brokers. I don't know how many of those we care about. But then tomorrow before open, we've got Comerica, NASDAQ. Tomorrow afternoon, I mentioned we have Tesla. We will have United. We'll have Discover. Going through this list Thursday before the market, AT&T, Domino's, American Airlines, Blackstone. So some big names there. After the close, we've got Snapchat, Boston Beer Company, ticker SAM, Mattel, Capital One. Friday, never some big ones. You usually don't have huge ones on Friday, but this Friday we do have Verizon and American Express. So a couple of those of note as well. So this week will be busy, will be big. Make sure to check us out. I mean, check out our website. We'll always be updating kind of the latest on earnings on our website on Benzinga Pro. If you haven't checked it out already, pro.benzinga.com. Free 2-week trial, no credit card or nothing needed. Yeah, guys, I'm seeing the in the chat talking all about the chips today. Nvidia, ticker SMH, AMD, you name it. Qs are making new highs of the day as I'm speaking. So let's go ahead and roll that intro and bring David on because we are seeing some volatility. I want to see how David's handling this out there today. Guys, let's go ahead, roll that intro, get the show started.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojacek from Trend Spider. We have a
breaking news. All righty, Mr. Green.
Good morning, everybody.
How we doing?
We're doing great, Aaron. How are you?
Pretty good. It's good to see some more green on the board. You know, it seems like
yes. We were talking before we come on. Let's see. Hopefully, we hold it today. But
hopefully
everyone, our focus has been Nvidia today. We know we have the vote for the chip stocks at some point. It's probably going on as we speak. But a lot of choppiness early. Right, here's my chart, just a 5-minute chart in the video. Early this morning, it got down to our 200 EMA. Hello, Cindy, which is around 162.12. And you can see it held our 200 EMA, basically been off to the races since then. And this trade just set up for us about 10 minutes ago. Obviously, guys, we can see this is in a beautiful uptrend. Pulled back to 165.50 right here to our 9 EMA. Everybody in the room got long. Some people are still in it, riding it up. No reason to get out of it yet. So, yeah, Nvidia looks really good. We're looking at the daily chart now and yesterday's high, weekly actually in Nvidia. So weekly, guys, very important level around 168.20. So if you guys know, these are all my trend lines, and you can see Nvidia has been a weekly downtrend, right? Has not been able to get above our 15 EMA on a weekly chart for months. So if we can get above like 168.20, very positive for Nvidia. I have a little short out there right now because it'll be a little stretch up there. Well, we'll see if it goes slow enough. I'm not going to do it. And yesterday's high was around 169. So keeping an eye on Nvidia all day. Very, very strong. We'll see what happens with that one the rest of the day. I know we let me just get rid of some of these orders. Bank stock's good today. Look at Goldman today, guys and girls. Goldman, just look at this trend all day. Just spectacular. And if you look here, 945, it came down and hit on 9 EMA at 305. It's up 11 points from there. So again,
Going
go ahead, Aaron.
I was just gonna say, going back to Nvidia or the Qs, like what is the RSI at now? Are we getting overextended? Are we getting overbought, or do we still have room to run?
No, Nvidia is not really overbought. I mean, a little bit. We're in the 70s as far as RSI is concerned. Again, that's why I was looking at that 168. I would think there'd be a little resistance there initially because it's a big weekly level. But we'll see. You know, I'm not married. Look, I'd much rather be long all these things right now. I'd much rather be long than short. The trend is up, so you want to be long these things for the moment. Who knows what's going to happen with the vote and everything else, but who knows? Maybe it's all priced in once the vote comes out too.
Yeah, it could be one of those sell the news events. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Definitely Nancy Pelosi was bullish the Nvidia going in, so maybe we should just follow her.
Let me just go over the SPYs again today, guys, to show you where we're at a little longer term. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. So again, look at the trend in the spiders today. Just spectacular, right? At 10 o'clock, it hit our 9 EMA at 386. It's up 4 points from there. So let's go daily and weekly in this thing and see where we're at. Daily, we got above. And again, yesterday faked everybody out. We were beautiful. They used the Apple excuse, right? When the news came out in Apple and knocked the market down 500 points, right? So again, this has been a difficult market to trade. So 387 is what we got above, which we did yesterday too, right? Let's go weekly. Okay, and here's the big level. 390, let's just call it 392. Again, look at this weekly trend line, right? Has not been able to get above it. So 392 is the first big level of resistance, which I will be short at, right? No question about it. And then 399. So we'll see. You know, at least we're starting to show a little life. I think everybody's getting used to the idea of the rate hikes and all that other stuff. I heard some people talking about the 1.25
oh, wow.
Raise, yeah, which I don't believe. They're not going to do that. Tesla didn't. What are you watching?
Yeah, someone else was asking about Tesla in the chat, saying it went above its 50-day moving average. But what's interesting to me about Tesla right here is when I was looking at the markets earlier before we hopped on, David, the Qs were up like 2.5%, and Tesla was only up 1%. So it was either showing some weak. Like, you got to be in either two camps here. You got to either think, okay, this means that Tesla is going to catch up with the rest of the market and you want to be long, or it's showing weakness and it's not performing as well. So you want to be short. I don't know.
How about neither? I mean, the earnings are coming out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tomorrow after close.
Night. So if you're going to do anything, you can only do options. I have a couple of guys in my room that bought some puts. They already cashed in on some from when it was up much higher, 600 puts, and they already cashed in on some. This thing with Twitter is going to go on for a long time. All right. So whatever happens off the earnings tomorrow could be knee-jerk up or down either way. But again, look at our weekly chart. It's below every single level that I have. I mean, you know, it's hanging around the 9 EMA, but again, very, very weak. You know, Tesla to me isn't positive until it gets above like 800, 811, which could happen in 10 minutes tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
Easily. Yeah, tomorrow after the close, Tesla reports. So if they blow out, you know, could run for sure.
Mikey, what are you saying was horrible and illogical? What did I say?
No, he was saying the move on the Apple.
Just the general move in the markets.
Yeah, when they use the Apple news as like you said, an excuse to.
Yes, but you know, who knows what tomorrow's news will be? What it'll be an excuse to go down 500 points. All right. So I mean, who knows? Spiders are pulling back a little bit now. So again, I'm going to look for trend trades until they tell me they're not in trends. Let's go back to NVIDIA. So we're pulling back a little bit. So NVIDIA, my in will be now, guys, 165.85. All right, that'll be down $2. I don't want to do the 9 now because we tested it once. So we'll go down to the 15, which is like 165.90. Let's put an order out in that. Cancel this stuff. That ain't happening. So again, look, Aaron, we just knew the NVIDIA was due for a little pullback, right? It got up to that 167, call it 50. We were at 168 for the short, and it pulled back. So I had a little trouble getting above the pivot point. Our short's not going to work now. So let's put out 165.85 now. We'll look there on the pivot, on the trend to buy a little bit. Guys, if you want to know what I'm looking at. No, that's okay, Mike. I thought you were just saying I'm horrible, which, You wouldn't be alone in that camp. Don't worry about it. Okay. Real quick, if you guys want to know what we use. 9 EMA, 15 EMA, 30, 65, 200. 9, 15, 30, 65, 200. Okay. Exponential moving averages. Those are all the ones that we use. So we only use the 9 and 15 when a stock is in a trend. So we're looking to, and again, this could bounce off the 9, but I'd rather be a little more conservative down here. So we're looking for the 15 EMA. In the room, we post every single trade that we do live before we get into them. I trade everything very small, guys. I have a lot of beginners in my room. So not about my P&L, it's about everybody else's. But you want to talk about Tesla, check this out. Okay. Pivot points also, guys, very important to put your pivot points in. Check this out in Tesla this morning. The stock went from 740 to 711. Everybody see our pivot point right here? And I had this order out, and it got down to like 713, so I canceled it. 10 minutes later, it got exactly to our pivot point at 711. I think we were like 711.50. And in 15 minutes, the stock went up $13. Very important to have your pivot points in. This was just a perfect technical setup. After going down $25, exactly hit our pivot point and was off to the races from there. So that was another trade that we had set up this morning. Netflix, right? We got earnings tomorrow, I believe.
Today, this afternoon.
Tesla is tomorrow.
Yep, Netflix is this afternoon.
Netflix tonight. All right, let's talk about Netflix for a couple minutes then.
Let's do it.
Which has been acting a lot better lately. So again, let's go right to the daily chart. We will trade this one live tonight. Expected move, guys. Someone in the room, give me the expected move in Netflix, or if you can get it, Aaron. I'm going to say between $15 and $20, probably something like that. Someone will pop it up if you can. Okay, so here we are on the daily chart, and if you see on our daily chart, we're right in the middle of everything. First resistance really is up at 218, so we'll make a note of that. 218. Again, guys, someone in my room, give me the expected move in Netflix for tonight. 218 is up $21. And again, I'm going to bet that that's
I'm seeing expected move of around 15%. So yeah, around $30.
There you go. So here you go. So that's a $28 move if we get up there. So that's the first spot I'll be looking at, 218. Let's go weekly. And 223, which is pretty close to that also. 218, 223. So to be on a conservative side, 223, I'd probably have something out to short tonight. We have resistance. There is no support anywhere, right? Nothing. So down $23 wouldn't even put us at our recent lows. This is how I look at earnings, guys, when they're about to come out. I'll put orders out up and down $30 in Netflix. Markers, just to tell me if it moves up and down $30. Then we'll go to our regular technical analysis and make trades from there. So going into tonight, I will probably have some orders out of 218 and 223, just little markers to see if it moves that much, and then we'll go in and trade it from there. Let's see what happens. So look, above 223, guys, is really good because what was that, all weekly? Yeah. And again, look at this chart. All right, this is a weekly chart, guys, going back, I don't know, from December. Since December, guys, this has not been able to get above its first little moving average here. Since December. So what's that, 9 months? We haven't, and we're just tickling above it a little bit at this 197 level. So we're at a very big level right now with room to go up. If I was playing this tonight and I would only play options, right? Let's take a look for a minute. Let's see if anything's setting up. Let's see what, I mean, the option's going to be all jacked up too, right? You know that with the earnings coming out tonight. Numbers are expected to be down. So again, how much of that? Look, one thing we've learned, or I've learned as far as earnings are concerned, the numbers don't mean anything, okay? The only thing that matters is what the stock does. We've seen stocks come out with earnings that were horrible and the stock goes up 50 points, and that were tremendous and the stock goes down 50 points. Especially this quarter, a lot of it's going to be about forward guidance, right? Forget about last quarter. We know what they did. It's going to be about forward guidance coming forward. And I think all the earnings this season, guys, are going to give us, that's going to be the next big move in the market, whether it's up or down. So let's look at Netflix. And what we say, 218 and 228. And again, very, very expensive. So I'd probably pass on this. I mean, look at the volatility in these, right? A 217.50 call, which is up $20 from here. Cost you $6.55.
Wow.
That's $655. And you don't start making money until it gets above 220, really. So they're very, very expensive. I'd probably pass on all these things. The only thing I might look at, okay, and if the earnings are going to come out bad, most of it's probably in the market, and I'd probably be looking to sell a put, if anything. You know, I could sell a put at 162 for $3, and worst case scenario, I'm long the stock at 159 bucks. That might not be a bad thing to do, but that's very risky. So no options. They're too expensive for us. There you go, Jeff. That's the thing to do, right? So Jeff just posted what you should be doing, a call spread. We have someone in our room who's an expert at that stuff.
Jeff said sell call spread 230, 240 to pay out for put spread 170, 160 for Netflix. Implied volatility is 15.5% this week. Almost getting it for free for downside.
There you go. And again, I'm not an options expert, but I have a couple of people in my room who are. That's the way to do it because your risk is capped, period. And if it gets a big move to the downside, you can cash in a bunch. Thank you, Jeff. Excellent, excellent. Appreciate it. So that's Netflix. Let's see if anything else is setting up now, guys. AMD, someone posted in my room. Let's go take a look. And first, let's look at NVIDIA and see if we're getting close to getting our trade at 165.85. No, I still like it, guys. And again, one of the things that's very, very important when we're looking to trade is how fast something gets to one of our levels, right? I always want speed. If this thing would just crawl, we might go down to our 30 EMA at 165.15. Still going to do the little trend here, and we got it out small, and we'll see if we hold that trend right around 165.85. I hate doing any trading during lunch because a lot of times trends don't hold during lunch. Someone just posted Netflix. Let me take a look from my room. For those of you who don't know, I trade live in my room every single day, posting every trade before we get in it. Stop orders, profit targets, yada, yada, yada. What do you like in Netflix, Alex? I kind of don't like anything here. And again, guys, we're coming into lunchtime.
In Netflix, I mean, if I was gonna play I don't know, like you said, the options are just so expensive going into the earnings, so I'm probably not gonna play it at all. But it has been strong. I mean, it's up 15% over the last week. The chart, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be too bullish going into the earnings today, just based on everything the company said over the past couple months.
It's at a huge level right now, Aaron. Sitting there, right on our weekly 90 EMA. So
yeah, but like Jeff said in the chat, I mean, they laid off staff. The high inflation forcing some people to cancel subscriptions, maybe. So I don't know. Someone's talking about Roku options. That could be a good way to kind of play the net.
Jeff, I was on the Florida New York Stock Exchange for 20 years, former specialist broker. That was my job. I retired in 1999. All right, let's look at Roku. That might not be as bad, right? Again, look at it. I mean, I guess every chart we're looking at kind of looks like this, Aaron, right? These things have just been horrible. I mean, look at this thing. Again, this is a weekly chart, right? All right, so we're trading at $87. I got nothing. What's the expected move in Roku, guys? If someone don't mind popping it up. 93 is the first resistance on weekly.
When does Roku report?
97. I don't know when Roku reports. Someone was asking about it. 93 and 98 are two very important levels on the upside. If I go daily and weekly. So weekly, 93 and then 98. Those are two levels. And again, this stock looks horrible, man. The 28th, a week from now. But look at this one, guys. Okay, again, day trading, right? Look, we concentrate on day trading in the room. We do options trades. We do swing trading. But look at Roku this morning, guys, when it got all the way down to our pivot point. This is 83.50, guys. The stock went down $7. Check this out. 83.50. It hung around there for a little bit. and boom, stock went up $4. Big support down here, right? Big support. No more working for the master. All right, what's the market doing now? Let's take a look. All right, spiders didn't even get to the trend. They're bouncing a little bit. NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA bounce off the 9, guys. Right? It was like 166.30. So I want to be a little more conservative and get down to this 166 level. But look at the move. If we could have pulled down to our 15 EMA, the stock's up $1 already. Right? Look at that. Beautiful. So we'll cancel that one for now. We'll just hang out. What is my room called? My room is the green room. Aaron will post my email, guys. Anyone who's watching here can come in and hang out with me for 5 days for free. Free trial. Watch us trade every day for 5 days. Anybody in the room who wants can come do that. Bitcoin wicks over 23,000. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Yeah, it's dgreen927 at yahoo.com. And again, look at this nice trend in Bitcoin today, guys. Look at this. That's why a technical analysis works for anything you want to trade. I don't care what you're trading. But Bitcoin early this morning hit our 30 EMA at 22.2. Went up 1,000 points from there. Look at the trend lines now. Hit our 9, hit our 15, and went up 400 points from there. So again, this is the day trade, guys. Just beautiful. I mean, beautiful technical analysis. And I have to tell you guys, we know trading has been a little more difficult for the last few months, but in the last week or so, it's really been good, and a lot of things are respecting the technical analysis. So that's a change. Let's go daily. And look, here we are in Bitcoin, guys. Right? I talked about this morning with my guys because people wanted some people wanted to buy Bitcoin, and we know it's very expensive. But I'll show you another way to do it. So look where we're sitting, guys, on the daily. Right at this 30 EMA. Right? So let's go weekly. Weekly, we got room to 24,000 and then 27,000. Let's go monthly. And first resistance around 25,000. Look at this monthly chart, guys. And this actually hit this level. It just didn't close there. Right? We had a level around 18 grand. Didn't we get a little bit below 18,000 at one point? I think, Aaron. I don't think we closed there, but I think we
yeah,
got
maybe.
I think we got to like 17.8 or something. And that was our 200 EMA. So and Bitcoin looks okay. So here's the way we do it, guys. And if you guys want to get into Bitcoin in a cheap way, this is the ETF that follows Bitcoin. Okay, BITO. This went from $44 to 11. And look at this nice percentage move that it bounced up from 11 to $14. So if you're ever looking to buy Bitcoin, guys, and you can't afford to buy Bitcoin and you want to get in it, you can buy a bunch of this BITO. It's an $11 stock. Did you know this one, Aaron?
Yeah, BITO. Yeah, that's one of. I think that might be the only, really Bitcoin pure.
I think there's a short one now.
There's
also a short Tesla ETF that just came out.
Yeah, TSLQ.
Which is interesting. So if you guys ever want to get into Bitcoin and you like it, here's the way to do it. BITO. Cheap. You can buy a bunch of it. Have tight stops. So Bitcoin's looking better, but so is the whole market, right? So we'll see what happens in the next. It's all going to be about earnings, guys. For the next. Oh no, we have the Fed next Wednesday too, right?
I believe so, but I think right now the market is pricing in another 75 basis point hike. So unless we got like a big surprise from the Fed saying, okay, now we're going up to a full point. I don't know if anyone else.
I don't think it makes a difference if they do 75 or a point.
You don't think it makes a difference?
I don't think that's going to make the market move a lot either way. What we need to see is some of these numbers start coming down, right? The CPI and anything inflation related, we need to see a couple of little downticks. And if we do, I think, then we can get some footing under this market. But what was the last one that came out? 11%, whatever it was much worse than expected. So we need to see a little progress.
Well, we are seeing gas prices come down a little bit. I've been checking
a lot. Yes.
Right.
If we look at even the indexes, right, up a little bit today, but the UCO, which is the one we trade, which tracks oil, I mean, this thing came down from $55, right, and got down to 31. in what, 2 weeks? So yeah, oil really got crushulated for that couple of week period of time, and now it's starting to bounce up a little bit. It's funny though, oil goes down very fast here, but not at the pumps, right?
No, I know. I'm looking at the.
They take their time lowering it.
I'm looking at the AAA gas prices website right now. We're down to 449 national average. That's down more than 50 cents from a month ago. So that's not nothing.
Huge.
Yeah.
Aaron, are we shorting Meta up here? I know we had it out earlier. Do you still like it?
I don't know. I mean, I like you said, I think, just these next 2 weeks are all going to be earnings. And I don't think any of the big companies are going to report great earnings, but the bar's so low. Like they're not expected to report good earnings. So maybe that's one of those cases where they're just okay, then the stocks go up. So I have no clue. I'm going to wait. My kind of whole strategy right now is going to be dependent on these next couple weeks when we get these earnings reports. So I'm kind of just sitting on my hands, wait until then.
I agree 100%. But I think, look, what do I know? I think we kind of nailed the low at 362. As long as the earnings come out decent. They don't have to be gangbusters. I'm hoping that we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and I think as we're seeing, because I mean, like you mentioned, any of the CPI or PCI or any of these numbers that are talking about inflation, those are all kind of lagging indicators. So there's a chance, I feel like, investors are looking at the landscape right now, seeing gas prices drop in real time, seeing some other prices start to get more normal in some commodities, and like you said, kind of be like, okay, maybe we're okay, maybe we don't need to go back all the way down to these 362 levels.
Yeah, I agree with that. Guys, Facebook, let's go to Facebook because I got a little short coming up that I want to do, okay? Go to the weekly chart, my peeps. 175. You know what's funny, Aaron? A lot of the charts. How many charts have I put up in the last 10 minutes? 5 or 10? They all look exactly the same to me. They're all trying to push above these first little levels of resistance that they have not been able to get above for weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months. So we're coming to a kind of crossroads in my mind here, and hopefully some of these things can bust through. But the guys, Meta 175.50 is a weekly level, so that's where I like to short in Meta. We stretch up to 175.50. I want to short a little bit of Meta. That is a weekly level, and a lot of the stocks that we're looking at are coming to these levels, which are very, very big levels. So hopefully we can get above it. I want to show you guys though how we got the low in the market, and I think we were in the room or in with you guys at least the week before or whatever. And again, I remember. You remember, Aaron?
I remember you got calling that 362 level pretty. I was looking at like the 355 level, and then you were saying that, or no, you had laid out two different levels, the 362, and then if we fell through that all the way down to 330, I remember.
Correct, 338. Yes. But this was, guys, our weekly chart on the spiders. And that's why I urge you guys, no matter what you're doing, and again, you can use any technical analysis that you want. I'm just giving you what we use because it's very, very accurate for what we do. But check out this weekly chart in the SPYs. I mean, we had a 363 level. It broke it by 83 cents. 83 cents. And that's a 200 EMA on a weekly average. Very, 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 very strong. I don't know if that's going to be the bottom. We all hope that that was the bottom, right? For sure. And 392 is the first really big level of resistance in this. That's our weekly level. So we haven't been able to get above the trend in a year. So to get above the trend, it's like 415, guys. To get back above, where we can really be positive and see some nice gains coming into the market. So again, 392 is a very, very big level in the SPYs. And I probably got to short it there first and have it prove to me that we can get above it. All right, we're watching Meta. Guys, anyone in the room in any trades? I know Alex was mentioning a short up on the pivot point here. I don't know if anybody did anything there. So this is a little trade we were looking at earlier. I don't know. We might have canceled it because it was going slow. But you see how it's having a little trouble up on the pivot point, guys?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great short because it hardly went up $1 there, but it's trying to decide what it wants to do from here. Maybe it gives you a 50-cent trade on a pullback. We'll see what happens. Any other questions that we see, Aaron?
I don't know. Let us know in the chat what stocks you guys are watching and any trades you guys have. We're only going to have David for another minute or so. So Ask your questions now or forever hold your peace. Kyler Gilbert's looking at some QQQ puts. As always, guys, dgreen927@yahoo.com. We'll get that link in the chat. Go ahead and send David an email if you want to go check out his room.
Yeah, send me an email, guys. You can come into the room starting later on today.
All right, we've got a couple tickers to run through before we let you go.
What do we got? Costco, Target, which one? GameStop?
Let's start with Q. Let's start with Kyler, who wanted the Q puts, and then we'll look at GameStop, Costco, Target, and then we'll call it.
That's fine. All right, so QQQ puts. Again, let's go right to the videotape in the daily. Look, if you don't believe in this little rally we have in now, buy some QQQ puts. I mean, that's the bottom line. Our next resistance in the Qs on a daily chart is 302. Let's go weekly. 302, 304. Another chart, Aaron. Just look, right? Look at this one again, right? Same thing. They're all trying to push above these trends for the first time. So if I was looking to do puts in the Qs, I'd, wait until it gets up to 302. That's the next resistance. 302, 304. And then we have, that's a big move up from the lows. But technically, 302, 304 is where I'd be looking to do some puts if I was doing anything.
Okay.
Let me just explain one thing, guys. Okay. I don't make any trades unless something technically is telling me to do it. Right. So here's your big resistance. If I'm looking to short this, that's the spot where I would be looking to do. All right. Next.
Next, we'll do Costco.
Costco's been so good for so long. I mean, let's go right to the daily. Yeah. Again, look at this. I mean, I don't know. Costco's in the middle of everything, relative strength. 15 points above the moving average. Beautiful bounce off the weekly. I honestly, guys, Costco, it's right in the middle of everything. Support is around 502. If the market's good, it's going to go higher. Right in the middle of everything now. All right, next.
All right, we'll do Target.
Target. Should be kind of a similar chart to Costco, but cheaper. Here we go. All right, let's keep our eyes on Target, guys. We're right there. 150, 250 is the 30-minute on the daily. Okay, let's go weekly. Then room to 157. So we're sitting right at a level right now. Go to the daily, 150, 250. We get above that, we got room to 157. And again, the way that I would play that is buy some 157 calls. If you think we're going to keep going from here, you can probably get them cheap. That would be a good way to play Costco. Next,
GameStop, GME, our favorite, David.
Oof. Look at this today. 156 went down $10, hit our pivot point at 149 and went up $4 from here. All right, let's go. Daily's going to look good in this, right? Because it's been going up lately. This is splitting, and don't ask me why they're doing this, but it's splitting 4 for 1 on Thursday, right? Yeah, that's splitting 4 for 1. It's going to be $37 stock. Looks great on the daily, all right? Support is 140, so as long as we stay above 140, it looks good. Weekly looks good, making a little pennant on the upside. And monthly, it looks good on every chart that I'm looking at, GameStop. But again, that would be another one if I was doing anything. It would be options. I wouldn't buy the stock because who the hell knows? All right, what else we got?
Let's see.
We have one more.
We did have one more. Let's do Shopify.
Didn't this just split 20 for 1 or something?
Something like that. We're down to like 30, 40 bucks a share.
Yeah, 33.80. So this is going to be hard to look at because of all the. Again, okay. Here we go. 34.30 is our first resistance. Then 36. Again, look at this chart, guys. This is weekly. Looks like every other one. So I don't think you get a big reversal in this until we get over 36. That's the bottom line. And they have earnings coming out next week, the 27th.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those that's just gotten absolutely.
Oh, my God. Crushed. Absolute down. What is it down? Like 80%? Something like that?
Something crazy like that.
Yeah. Again, 36, and then we got room to 42. All these things, guys, look, some people might be stuck in these things from way higher levels. I get that. But if you're not in them, don't buy stock. Just buy options if you think you're getting a big move in any of these things. Much safer, right, Aaron? At least you know your risk when you're doing options.
Yeah,
you
100%.
can only lose what you put into them. Spiders broke the trend, I'm saying, in my room. Let's go take a look. Yes, spiders just broke the trend. All right. So our 30-minute is 383.30. So let's look at what are you in? I am in Meta at 174, looking for 174. What are you doing? Hold on one sec, guys. You short at 174, or you bought it, you're long? I don't know what you did. I don't know what you left. Oh, you're short at one. Yeah, I was wondering if you did that or not. Anyone else in the room short at once? I will talk about that after we're done. So you see the Meta up here, guys, had a little trouble at that 174.60 level, trying to get 50, 60 cents on it. Let me look in the video real quick and see where we want to buy that. All right, we'll see if it breaks down. All right, we're all good, Aaron.
All right, David.
We'll look for dipskis and see how real this market is. Be careful, everybody, if this market starts to turn around. I mean, it's just so volatile.
We haven't been able to hold any of these rallies over the past couple months. We'll see if this one's any different. But David, as always, thanks for coming on this Tuesday. Always a pleasure to have you.
Fun to be here every single time, guys. Just come email me right now, guys, and you can come hang out with us for 5 days. Thank you, Aaron. See you next week.
Beautiful. See you next week. All right, guys. D Green 927. Go check David out. Go check his room out. Smash the like for David. Always a pleasure to get him on. All right, guys. We're working on Benzinga Live, kind of implementing some new segments. So, some are going to be more, I guess you could say, elaborate, more high production. Some are just going to be little fun things. This is more of those little just fun things that I want to start doing. So I created a Google form that is a BZ Live, our Benzinga Live mailbox. This is kind of like when we used to do call-ins, but basically I just want you to write in a question or something. And the question can be anything from something you're looking at in the markets. Maybe you don't understand something. Maybe you want to talk about a stock or a certain topic we haven't talked about. You can go ahead and submit that on that mailbox, or it can be a fun little, oh, Aaron, what'd you eat for breakfast this morning or something? And just kind of once or twice a day, I'll pull up a question from this mailbox. So let's hopefully get some good chat participation there, get some questions flowing in there, and maybe we'll get to one later this afternoon. We do have Robert Roy joining us here in about 10 minutes from Wealth Builders HQ. Okay, you need permission. All right, let's try to get this permission thing figured out. Settings. All right. I don't know. Trying to figure out how to do this. For some reason, the oh, here we go. All right. Should be good now. Try the link again. I'm going to send it in one more time, and then it should be live now. You guys should be able to post those questions, statements, comments, concerns in the form. You can also, if you have any segment ideas, anything you want us to start doing on the show, maybe it's a our worst CEO of the day or whatever, and we pick one CEO who's doing a bad job, like whatever it is. If you have a segment idea, drop them in that Google form. We will be going off those over the next couple weeks. So definitely let's get some participation in there. Now, as always, let me know in the chat what stocks you guys are watching. Let's go through some of our top headlines from benzinga.com today. So like the show today, basically everyone's focus has been on earnings this week. We are getting into the thick of things when it comes to earnings. We did get a great article. Let me go ahead and get my screen up and share it. From Chris Kache, I believe. Easy Mike, yes, we are actually Easy Mike's talking about some man on the street, AB on the street segments. We are actually getting ready to plan or getting ready to film some more of that tomorrow because we're doing one of our Benzinga boot camps tomorrow. If you guys haven't signed up already, you definitely should. We have a lot of great speakers between Nick Shaheen, Christian Fromhertz, just an all-around great lineup on the Benzinga boot camp. So go ahead and sign up for that. I'll drop the link in the chat. So tomorrow, basically from around 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we're going to be doing a 6-hour boot camp that is going to get you trading, get you investing to the next level. I'm going to be there. Zunaid's going to be there. Mitch is going to be there. So definitely come hang out with us at that boot camp tomorrow while we're doing that. While I'm not busy on the boot camp, we are planning to stream some AB on the street. All right. So top headlines from Benzinga.com today. We are talking about Netflix earnings. Netflix stock has dropped after the last 5 quarters of results. What are Netflix earnings expectations? So just off the headline there, the thing that pops out to me is just the fact that Netflix has dropped 5 times consecutively after earnings. Like, how many times can a company drop after its earnings reports? The expectations are baked in at this point that the earnings isn't going to be good for Netflix. So now Netflix doesn't even have to report a good quarter. All they have to do is report an okay quarter. And the bar is so low that the stock could do well. So that's to me where I don't think, and I was talking about this yesterday, there's as much alpha in playing this away and playing this to the downside, right? And we are going to talk more about alpha. We did, that is one of our segments. We're going to start doing a word of the day. Alpha is today's word of the day. We're going to talk about that definition. But anyway, so analysts are expecting Netflix to report revenue of $8 billion for second quarter. Analysts see the company reporting earnings per EPS of 296. First quarter revenue of 7.8. So they actually see revenue expecting to go up for a quarter over quarter, which means last quarter's missed the street estimate. Fourth quarter, the quarter before that missed. So they've missed now a couple of quarters in a row. The streaming company surprised many when it reported a loss of 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter. Its first subscriber loss in over 10 years, along with the sub loss. The company reported it was seeing slowing growth and forecasting a loss of 2 million subscribers in the second quarter. Jeff Strong posting some more in the chat. Jeff is obviously bearish going into the earnings. I am too, honestly. Like, I don't think Netflix, like, think about it. I mean, first quarter, that's the months from January to March. Netflix reported revenue of 7.8. What in the quarter from March to June, or from April through June, has changed that they think Netflix is going to make more money? If anything, the macro outlook has been worse. Inflation has been worse. In those months, people were paying more for gas, paying more at the grocery store. Maybe they have a little bit less to spend on their Netflix subscriptions. I know, actually, I myself personally, and this obviously isn't anything to go off of, but I canceled my Netflix subscription in that second quarter. So I don't know. I think if anything, I do expect the earnings to be weak, but like I said, with the expectations just being so low, there may be more alpha playing this to the upside. So we shall see. The stock is up 15% over the last week, so that would make me a little nervous, I think, being long this stock. Let's go ahead and just get my Benzinga Pro pulled up. Get a look at the chart, because I do think it is worth potentially looking at some sort of, like Jeff is saying, maybe some put spreads or some call credit spreads, to where even though the outright options are super expensive, that maybe you can play some spreads and make it a little bit more affordable. But at the end of the day, just know it's a gamble. I mean, if you're buying any stock or selling any stock into earnings, it's a gamble. And options just makes it even more risky. So if you're buying options on Netflix into earnings, just know that you're essentially betting on this, and then you should expect that there's a strong possibility your options expire worthless. So Let's pull up a daily chart here on Netflix. We have been, like I said, performing well over the past at least few days. I mean, we're up. Let's go to a weekly chart, actually. On this weekly chart on Netflix, we are now up, you know, so weird. Why does on the candles it doesn't say? All right, so we're above 198 right now. Go back to just a week ago on July 13th, we were down at 170. So we've gone up almost $30 in less than a week. Going into this earnings report, the expectations are clear that people think, all right, the bar has been set so low for Netflix, we can't possibly go any lower. And people have been buying it. Jeff Strong saying no cost with options if you sell far out of the money call spread to pay for far out of the money put options. Yeah. I guess Jeff, the only problem, I mean, what if they beat by a lot and then it goes above your what you were calling from? I don't think David Green has Twitter, Rick Knight. Kyler Gilbert saying sell the 250 150 spread. Free money. I don't know. Maybe Jeff or Kyler, maybe we'll have to get you guys on the show to talk about how you're setting up that trade, because I am curious. It is piquing my interest figuring out if there is a good way to kind of play these Netflix earnings. But right now, I just feel like I don't really have an edge. And in the way that I was saying earlier, like I just feel like there's not as much alpha to the downside because the expectations are so baked in. And you could also get a potential surprise beat and really see this thing run. I mean, it's been in an uptrend. We will be able to ask our next guest, Robert Roy, about Netflix, about some of these other stocks coming up. We'll bring Mr. Roy on in a few minutes here. I did want to run through a couple other headlines from the website before we bring Mr. Roy on. So of course, Netflix, one of your biggest stories of the day. Spruce Point Capital is short Skechers. They see about 30 to 50% downside risk to Skechers. Let me go ahead and pull up Skechers chart here because this is a name we don't typically look at all that often. To be honest with you, I always blank on the ticker for this stock. That was one that I just saw. Ticker SKX. That's right. SKX. Skechers is an interesting one to me. For some reason, these shoe companies tend to do better on the market than other apparel. Like if you look at like Crocs compared to some different apparel companies, although Skechers has really not been doing well. You can see our COVID lows. We got down to about $17 a share, ripped all the way higher to $56 a share. Are now is now trading below right around $38 a share, which is below our pre-COVID levels of 45. But yeah, I'll have to read into this Spruce short report, see exactly why they're short Skechers here, see if we like that thesis. Jeff's thinking the gas running out for Netflix, even with a good earnings report. And yeah, and that's what I think. I mean, if I were trying to play Netflix to the long side, I don't think that I would like that it's up already, more than 10% over the last week. I think I would like to see it trading a little more flat or even down into the earnings, and then you buy those calls and hope that it rips. All right, guys, let's go ahead and bring for that report, please. Sure. Let's go ahead and bring. Oh nope. Let's give Miss. Nope. You're fine. We'll give you 1 minute, Mr. Roy. I see you. All right. We're gonna give Mr. Roy a minute. Keep rolling through some of our headlines on Benzinga Pro today. Let's just go ahead and pull up our news feed. I'm seeing some people in the chat talking about Lord Byron saying Apple TV and Hulu are cheaper per month than Netflix. Let's go to our news feed, see what's all happening in the wide world of stocks. Twitter, Delaware judge will rule at 12:25 p.m. Eastern on Twitter request for September trial. Okay, so I think Twitter was requesting an expedited trial. So we'll get a ruling here in 5 minutes. It looks like just on if this trial will be expedited or not. Seeing any other big headlines. Not seeing anything too huge right now. I'll keep an eye out here, but let's go ahead and bring our second guest on for the day. Let's bring on Robert Roy from Wealth Builders HQ. Rob is one of my favorite guys to talk to about charts, talk to about TA. He's been doing it a while. He's got good experience. So without further ado, let's give Rob our very special intro, bring him on and see how Rob's doing on this beautiful Tuesday.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Whoa, Mr. Roy, how we doing?
All right, man, I'm still in vacation mode. I'm just loving being off last week. Missed trading the markets a little bit, but man, it was a lot of fun just getting away and doing something different.
Yeah, where were you? I can tell you're still on vacation mode. Coming in.
Yeah, very much so. We went up to Portland, Maine. We wound up driving up there. Car rental was $1,700 for the week to rent a car.
Holy
crazy.
Cow.
So 5-hour drive. We made some stops along the way. Cut a couple things both directions there and back. So it was fun. It was fun.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. It's good to have you back, though.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be back.
So what have you been watching? What's been top of your radar recently?
So a couple of things. Today we had Boeing come out with news again, right? That there was another deal in the works on another series of planes. It wasn't a big one, but they had popped on that news. We called that out this morning. And I don't know why my charts on TradeStation are showing all the pre-market when it should not be. But so we opened up right about here today at the regular market session. This is all pre. We opened up right about here and, bull put spread down below the previous lows. We did well on that one. So that one worked out great. And it was actually 2 days in a row we've had Boeing, because yesterday was the Delta deal where the Delta announced they're going to buy 100 Supermax planes from them. Right. So next we got IBM. Right. They came out with earnings. They beat on top and bottom, but still did not do well. Right. So we watched them on the open. Again, this is all pre-market. And the open is right here, this 935 candle right here, this red one. They had a little pop up. We were up above this 133.28 for a bear call spread and did very nicely on IBM today. So very pleased with both of those. The last one today, which I did not take, was NCR. Worked out well, but just not one that I am familiar with. So I just chose to pass on it. It had this huge gap up in the morning. It ran back, and at 9:35, it was just looking very ugly. So I let it be. We would have been looking for a bullish trade. I could have caught it off of this bounce. I did not. After it got back above these lows again, I did not, and we passed on that one today. So 2 out of the 3, not too bad.
Yeah, and so about the companies reporting earnings this week, have you or anyone in your group been looking at any, playing these earnings in any way, or do you not really do that?
No, we do. And I heard you talking a little bit before about taking options trades and or stock trades prior to the announcement. Guys, there's a lot of things to look at. Aaron was spot on when he said with the stock, it's a gamble. I mean, you don't know. And could you do things like write a covered call and buy a protective put? You could, but what you need to take into account is those options are way overvalued at this point. So if Netflix, as an example, the one you were talking about, does nothing and just goes flat, they're going to crush both the calls and the puts on both sides. So you're going to see a huge volatility drop in that position. The option, which you may have paid $8 for, could be worth $5 just by volatility pulling out, right? And then if the stock doesn't pick up legs, it'll drop even further in the options pricing. So I tend to stay away from the options prior to the announcement. Aaron, here's the way that I trade them. We'll be looking. Netflix is one of our 20 stocks that we follow on our power option plays, our main program that we teach here. And we're going to be looking at the NQ tonight, which is the NASDAQ futures. And we're looking at the mini size futures. So you can do this for a very small amount of money, depending upon your broker, but a few hundred to a few $1,000s you need on hand to be able to do this. And you can use marginal stocks such as, another equity or so for the position if you have them in the same account. But we're going to be watching So I've got a template that opens up with one chart of the NQ and one chart, which will be Netflix tonight. And I'll be watching when Netflix makes its announcement. And we'll be looking for a move, a directional move in Netflix. And if we see a bounce to the upside, I'm going to buy NQ. If we see a drop on Netflix, we're going to sell NQ. And it's a very simple, straightforward process. For every point that the position moves, you had X value, so it's quarter point on NASDAQ. It's a $5 value. So it's a pretty straightforward, simple, directional trade in the aftermarket after Netflix has already closed trading the stock, but they're going to announce sometime after the close today. We can take advantage of that because the market is open past 4 o'clock for NQ, right? So we look for major NASDAQ stocks, guys. Netflix, Meta, Apple, of course, right? Amazon, Google, Tesla. We look for major NASDAQ stocks to do this trade on. There's only about 6 or 8 of them that we tend to do it with. But overall, it works out well. We have someone that tracks every single earnings of about 60 companies, someone that works with us. And he knows how they perform at announcement and after announcement. And these ones I just mentioned, overall, not every time, overall tend to do well.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, and I really like that strategy of being able to kind of wait, because then you're not putting yourself at risk of like you said with IBM, they reported good earnings. Like you can be right about the earnings, then the reaction to the stock afterwards is the opposite of what you're looking for.
Exactly. We've got great earnings, and that but is what kills it all the time. But next quarter, we don't see it being so well.
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of companies right now, it'd be hard to kind of give a lot of positive outlook guidance just because there's so much uncertainty, right? Like how is Netflix supposed to know if inflation's going to come down and people are going to have more money to spend on their accounts, or if gas is going to go back up and then they have less money to spend on account, like Netflix has no clue. So I don't know. I would have a hard time believing a lot of these companies are even able to give positive forward-looking guidance right now, but who knows?
I agree. It's tough. There's a lot out there happening. And on top of that, with Netflix, the thought of, are they continuing to lose subscribers? That's going to be the big thing. They could beat earnings this quarter and say we still are continuing to lose subscribers, and they're going to get crushed on the announcement. Aaron, there's an expression that says, don't catch a falling piano, right? If you're walking down the street, you look up in Manhattan and you see the piano falling, get out of the way, let it hit the ground, and pick the pieces up later. Same thing with the stock. Tomorrow, after Netflix announces, guess what? I will be looking at a daily chart on Netflix, and I will look for where the stock opens, and I will be looking at major support and resistance levels and looking to trade credit spreads somewhere off of those levels. So if we close right where we are now, and tomorrow we open up somewhere down here, I'm going to be looking for a credit spread on the other side of my fib line. If we gap up, so that would be a bear call spread if it gaps down. If we gap up, let's say up above this fib line, I'm going to be looking for my credit spread, a bull put spread somewhere down here. See, I've got a better chance with a spread after earnings because remember that increase in volatility? It's still there on the open. They haven't taken it all away because people have to close out their contracts. The market maker doesn't want to give it away. So they're going to leave that jacked up premium in there a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take that credit of the jacked up premium and watch it dissipate very quickly in the morning.
Yeah. No, I really like that strategy. I don't think I've ever heard, someone else doing that around earnings time. So what about just going to the overall market here, Rob, looking at the Qs or NASDAQ here? We've had a really strong day, but it kind of looks like to me we're running out of some steam here. And I don't know if you, probably got to look, we could probably got to look at like an intraday chart here, but we hit up here around 296 now a couple times, but haven't been able to clear. So I'm curious here if we can continue running higher, or you think maybe we've run out of some steam and maybe we're going to move lower.
Are we talking on the NASDAQ itself or on the SPX?
I'm looking at the Qs right now, but if we want to look at SPX, I'm sure it's pretty similar. Let me pull up my SPY chart. Yeah, pretty similar on the SPY. We're actually right now we are making new highs, but still
Right. So
really
SPX, we can look at the intraday, Aaron, right, first. But realistically, I want to take you back to the daily. So we had this gap up and this nice steady roll. I like this kind of move, these whipsaws of big ups, big downs. Don't make it easy for anybody to ever trade, right? But if we look at SPX on an intraday, a daily chart basis, and this last candle is today, right? It is today. So what happened? Yesterday, we were in one of our trading rooms. We were talking at our power hour yesterday at noon, and we looked at this candle. Now, I had all of this off of the screen yesterday. I was up to about here, and I said, what do you guys see? And again, I can't really hide both sides. This candle wasn't there. And we were pushing up here. This candle was not all the way down. Remember, the white candle on the right is today. We were up near this upper level, and someone came out. They had saw a doji. Some said morning star forming. Someone had come out and said a double top, and it was Roman, one of our students. And I said, Roman, you're spot on. And then I started backing up, and it was, there's a triple top in there. And we had not seen this big pullback yesterday, right? But we have a confluence taking place there. There's a 3,900 level, 3,900. That's this dot dash line. On top of that, you have a 3907.19 level. Confluence of two major fib lines in the same location, right? So getting through it is hard enough, but when you've tried once, twice before and failed both times, and we were looking at lower highs yesterday as well, right? And then we look on this side and see lower lows. So you do have a slightly downward facing trend on this as well as we're bumping our head in there. We need to break that 3907 level. And for me to go long on SPY, I need to break that 3907 level. In an ideal world, I break it, come back and retest, and I bounce. And if I can get that bounce, I have what is called a clear and concise entry. You've heard me talk about this before, but concise means I'm getting it at a good spot. It moved up, it pulled back, and it bounced. See, I didn't take this breakout here, that gap up, which failed immediately. And then this gap up, which ran a little bit and failed hard. I wait for the retest and the bounce. It gives me the best opportunity to be right. Doesn't mean I won't have them go against me. It just means I've got a better chance of it moving in my direction. So that's the clear entry, the concise entry. The clear path is up to the resistance, which is this 39.70.99 level, right? So call it 39.71. We've got plenty of opportunity to the upside there. And since overall we move about $78 a day right now on the SPX, and we're looking at $62, $63 in there, we could actually make that entire move in one day. I just need the retest and the bounce. For me, I'm just not a breakout trader. And it's not that they don't work. They just don't work for me. My personality, my risk profile says I am always going to be better served if I can get a small move up for a bullish position, a retest, and the bounce. It will give me a better chance of being right in the trade.
Yeah. And I like that. I mean, like getting those concise entry points, I think it allows you to create a system that's going to make you able to essentially be able to repeat that more often than if you're not having those concise entry points. I see some people in the chat talking about Netflix versus Amazon, whatever. So let me know in the chat which one is your favorite streaming service. We of course have Netflix reporting earnings this afternoon. Rob, anything else you've been looking at that's been on your radar?
Yeah, so we had a couple of things that we looked at last time I was here, Aaron. If you remember, I introduced a strategy here that I had not really taught anywhere else, and we wound up naming it the switchback trade. Okay,
right.
So ACN was one of the stocks that we did that with, right? So ACN, right? If we look at ACN today, what happened, right? It closed near a key level. It's a Fibonacci level. Now this gapped up. So the trade didn't work for us today. So we had this on our radar for potentially moving up or down. It didn't work out. So we pass on this trade, and that's okay. You don't have to trade every single one of these types of candidates. You find the ones that work for you. But then we look at Chevron. So I just wanted to show that they don't all work, right? We look at Chevron. What happened? We closed down yesterday, again, below a major key level with a massive confluence. If we take today's candle off, look at that. We closed just below that fib line. It's our 0 line. We closed just below that. And our 8 moving average, the pink line, is right underneath it, pinching it, giving us a confluence. What happens? Today, we make a small move to the upside, slight stretch down on a wick. We pop up above that 140. We retest and bounce. And now we've got to move up to about 143. So you're up about $2 on this position or so, give or take, on the stock. We'd be trading the options, of course. You're up about $2 on the position. But what a great overall move on CVX. And guys, these types of trades, you want to check these out. I mean, these are some great looking setups that work very well. Gush was another one today, GUSH.
Yeah, I've been watching Gush and Drip over. Wait, I'm seeing someone in the chat just said we had Tesla news. Let me try to figure out what that was real quick.
Well, they were going to court today with Twitter. They're trying to get that expedited.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to affect Twitter. But Gush closed right near fib line. Again, confluence of the moving average. We retested. Look, the fib line is 120.33. My low today was 120.60. We're talking about 27 cents off of $120 stock is how close we got to that support level, that fib line. And we bounced right off of there. It went from 120 to 129. Guys, if you only picked up a small piece of that, what if you got in at 121, got out at 125? You just picked up $4 of the stock move, which is going to be about $3 of an option move, give or take, depending on your delta, right? These are great setups in an uncertain time. It allows you to not pick a side. I don't have to say, I'm bullish today. No, I'm not bullish today. I'm switchbacking today. I'm not sure what way that market's going to move this stock, but I've got the opportunity to trade it in both directions. This was the home run for us today on Gush.
Yeah, and like I said, like I think with the crazy moves we've been seeing in the oil and gas markets, these Gush and Drip ETFs from Direction are actually a great way to play it if you're able to kind of actively manage your trades. If you're not able to be watching your trades and watching your portfolio, then the 3 times leveraged ETFs are not really for you. But if you are able to, then they can be a great tool in trading those movements.
Correct. Caution anytime you get into anything that's leveraged.
100%.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Sure. All
right. So I checked out that Tesla news. You're right. It was just the Delaware court is allowing Twitter to expedite its lawsuit against Elon Musk. So they will be going to court pretty soon over that with the expedited process, and not hopefully. I mean, it will be going on for a while, but it won't be maybe as dragged out as if they weren't going to expedite it. Seeing some other things from the chat. Let's see. Jay Rice looking at Mara. Shane Thomas saying, I just joined. Are they bullish or bearish on Netflix? What about, I don't know, Rob, what about you? If you had to pick a direction, bullish or bearish on Netflix, which would you be?
Yes. Guys, it's not I learned back in 1997 when I first started to trade that using my gut was a huge mistake when I trade. I have to have, again, that clear and concise entry. If you look at the move that we made, we are right now in a neutral bias. So I am just that. I can take bullish directional trades if the setup is right, but we are pressing our head against a major level. I've got a fib line just above it and a 55 moving average just above that. There's so much resistance above my head. I need to get above that 55, which is about 207, for me to want to do anything bullish. And for me to want to take anything bearish directionally, anything bearish, I need to get back down below the moving averages here, the green and pink line, the 8 and 21. I need to get down below that. I'm going to watch Netflix tonight. And when they make the announcement of this is what we're doing with our numbers and the market moves it up or down, I'll make a decision if it's a trade I want to take or not. And if so, I'll trade that short term. I mean, we could be in this for 5 seconds to 5 minutes, right? It's very much a short-term trade, right? And there are follow-up trades behind it, but this is primarily the one I'm talking about right now is just a short-term getting in, getting out based on the news, right? It's a true day trade from where day trading came from, right back with SOS bandits. If any of you know what that even is, I know it's been a long time.
No, what is that?
Small order execution system.
Mm.
People traded when there were fractions. You traded for 12.5 cents because there were eighths. You traded in fractions, not in pennies. So it was 12.5 cents you were looking for, right? But it was just a matter of how you small order execution. It was day traders that could get in and out very quickly utilizing this systematic approach, the system of SOS, small order execution system. Not something that I know of anyway that's utilized anymore today. So I'm not really bullish or bearish on Netflix. I mean, when I look at it, it's more of a bullish bias, but what their news comes out, I'm afraid of their subscriber numbers. I don't believe they improved from last quarter. So that is fearful to me.
And Jeff brings up a good point, talking about Netflix has a 58% revenue from international, and record high dollar will hurt them too. That, because of the way that the dollar is so strong right now, maybe will hurt the revenue. And we had that. If you guys recall, Microsoft kind of came out and said something similar to that a quarter or two ago, where they said the Forex exchange rate was going to hurt their revenues going forward. And that was very, it was interesting because you're like, all right, you're a huge international company. If the Forex exchange rate isn't favorable, that's not going to just be for Microsoft. So it kind of seemed like they were using that as an excuse to cover up some other weaknesses. So we'll see if Netflix has any similar problems.
Exactly. And listen, if I'm a CEO, I'm going to do what I can to try to sugarcoat it all the way across, right? And Bill Gates is a master of it. He's no different, right? So they're going to cover up, or from a company standpoint, they're going to whitewash it as much as they can without doing something illegal, to just try to make it seem not as bad for them. But we're not through earnings season yet. We're in the very beginning of it at this point, right? So we've got Netflix, Goldman Sachs, United Healthcare, the three major ones that we watch. They're coming out all within a couple of days. Netflix tonight, so a couple of days of each other. So you've got to be careful when it comes to the earnings. I'd rather sit back in position 1 in the chair, let it make its move, then I'll be up at position 3 into place in the trade.
So what about as far as just taking a look at the overall market and looking at like any levels to the upside or downside? Are you concerned at all with what the market does from a more like long-term perspective? Or are you solely focused on just like the intraday or weekly movements?
Very concerned for the daily chart. All of my analysis, and maybe I don't express it enough or stress it enough, but all of my analysis, Aaron, comes from a daily chart. That's where it all starts. If I don't like what I see on the daily chart, the intraday more than likely is not going to happen. We've had somewhat of a channel, a Fibonacci channel inside. Now, this is a midpoint then for that, but we've had a nice move inside of this. So we have been stuck in this range for a little over a month, right? Inside of there, but came right after that huge fall where we drew that fib off of. And we were range bound for about 2 weeks here inside of that. So as far as where we're at right now, look at, and I'm going to bring this in really big, right? Just for ease of seeing. We've got this 100-point level, 3,900, and this 3,907 level are right on top of each other. Confluence. Right above that, we have a purple line, which is our 0.618. If I back it out, you'll see that my lines primarily are going to be blue and red. The blue are the top and bottom lines. The red lines are everything else except the 618. That is because that is the most important number in the universe, period, the end, and everything you do in life. That 618 is extremely valuable. Well, we've got a confluence there. So I'm concerned. I'm looking at that 3971 level as a next target. But the biggest one for us, Aaron, for us to get back to being bullish, I don't just need to break out of the moving averages and start moving up. There's a 4181 Fibonacci level right here. We need to break out of that level. We've got to break out of that. That is a key fib level. And it's funny, I hear people talking about 4,100, 4,200 as a number, and they're picking it, and they're right that you've got other supports here, but they're not sure why. The reason for it is if you take Fibonacci number series, 4181 is a fib number. Just start adding it up. 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. Just put it in Excel, and you'll see all the numbers in there. That 4181 is critical, and you can see When we ran down into it, we got our bounce. We got our double bottom pattern. We got our bounce. But now we're getting into more lower highs. When we broke is when we broke well, right? We got down below that 20% bear market at that point, right? And the next time we tested it, we failed with a vengeance. Didn't just have a wick down below that 20% line. We closed finally below that 20%. So 41.81 is going to be the most important level to keep your eye on, Aaron, as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't mean there's not short-term trades along the way, but that's truly, if we can get above there, that's our first step into getting back into some bullishness.
Interesting. Yeah. And I mean, I like personally, my whole outlook over the past month or so is I've been waiting for this week and then next week too for during earnings, because I think that will be where we get this next directional move, either to the downside or to the upside. And that will give me, a better idea of what's going on.
I agree. There's definitely has to be some focus on what earnings are telling us. Right? Be careful of the talking heads out there, but focus on what earnings are saying. You can't look at it and just say, well, this company went up. That doesn't make it bullish or bearish. It just means that the company went up. If we look here, I'll give you an example of how I track things. So if we go back here, you can see right here, we had 3 companies, and this was for our June 27th. We had 3 companies that were bullish, 9 companies that were neutral, and 9 that were bearish. Well, if I continue to work through on that, we went from 9 bearish on the 27th to the 29th having 18 bearish. Well, something happened there. And these are, guys, you can see the stocks. I don't hide it. I don't tell you got to subscribe to what we do. There they are. Here's my 20 stocks right there. Doesn't mean anything. These are triggers that I have invented, created, developed, probably the best word for it, of how we enter into these positions. But we had a major shift in direction there at that point. Then we had nothing bullish, 17 bearish, right? 11 bearish, 6 neutral, 4. I mean, we kept shifting, and you could see how things have morphed overall. This will be our next one for today. Actually, this is set up for today. You can see how things have morphed for us on that. So it's not a matter of picking a stock. It's a matter of looking at the market as a whole, and we use things like earnings as a whole to help us understand how things are moving and how we can capitalize on it.
Yeah. And you got to think too, like we have Netflix and Tesla today and tomorrow. Those will be 2 of the biggest, for tech. But then going forward, we still have Apple, Microsoft, we still have some of the biggest names yet to report.
Exactly. The easy way to remember this is if you look at, it's actually AA, Alcoa, right? If you look at Alcoa, their earnings are scheduled, you got to confirm them, but on the 20th, that's the unofficial start of earnings season. That's what many old-time Wall Street folks use for when earnings season starts. That right there, anything that's happened up to that, you've had some announcements, but you're going to see a gush, a drowning of earnings coming out over the next couple of weeks, right? Because every publicly traded company starts announcing. They have to announce quarterly, and most of them are going to be within a couple of weeks span of time. I mean, this is my tracking sheet, right? All these blues, those are earnings coming out within the next 3 weeks. Right? To me, most of our stocks have earnings coming up in the next 3 weeks. Adobe is the furthest one away. They're kind of more of a midterm announcement. They're not around most other companies.
You're not worried about Adobe right now?
I like Adobe. Actually, it's one of them on my list for today. I do an intraday market setup, and I look for these switchback trades. Right? If Adobe closes where it is, this gives us a great opportunity. You've got the bullish move is easy. The bearish move is going to be a harder move, but I would use less contracts with that. I would use a very small number of contracts on a bear trade there. But I like where Adobe's setting up. I would probably scale out of it about this midpoint right here. Right about between there, the fib line and that 100-point level. I'd probably scale out of half of my trade right about that 391 level or so. But from 384 to 391, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like Adobe too. I mean, their subscription revenue model is just very, very strong. So I gotta like it long term. But I mean, it's tech, and tech has been weak over the past 6 months or so. So
Right. I agree. And same channel, Aaron. It's the exact same channel. So if I can get nothing more than get up into that midpoint, listen, guys, the whole idea behind trading is finding a system that works. You've got to trust it. And then when you place that trade, having a clear set of rules to use to make sure that you are not cheating, right? If here, I open this up to show the difference of what we do here in our bullish, neutral, and bearish candidates. But guys, if you look at this setup, right, we got stopped out of booking yesterday. All right, let me just open that a little bit bigger, make it easier to see. We got stopped out of our last contract of booking yesterday, but we got into a bearish trade on booking on June 28th. Our last exit was June 18th, and that's up $52,000 on that trade. Now, that is one of the very few swing trades that we have done recently. We had one here on Amazon on June 30th. The last swing trade that we did takes me back into February. Everything has been day trades.
wait, since February, you haven't held a single position overnight?
No. Nope.
That's
incredible. Well, I shouldn't say that. We may have had a couple in there that we did, but we got stopped out of. So without me going over and comparing dates, like here's an Amazon. We got in on the 16th, got out on the 17th. We got hit 15 grand on that trade. So we did hold that overnight. This is pre-split. Had I not held overnight, had we done it as a day trade, we would have made about 40 grand on the trade. Had I just done it as a day trade.
Wow.
But I called it out to the group. This is the rules that we use, and we've got to follow through on that trade. We don't change it mid-trade, right? So we got stopped out the next day on it. But you can see for the most part, these are all day trades. Very few of these are swing trades. Here's NVIDIA on the 9th, both dates, right? Then there's Facebook before Meta, same date. Tesla is the same date. NVIDIA is the same date, right? Netflix, Square, PANW, right? All of these were the same trading date. And guys, it's all here. I'm not trying to hide it. We have trades that go against us. There's a Chipotle that went against us by 7 grand, right? And we don't have a lot of huge trades like the one we've got going right now with booking, right? They're $2,000 and $3,000. I mean, if I can get $2,000-$3,000 trades over and over and over again, getting base hits, I'm much happier than trying to hit one big home run.
Yeah, and that's what we've been talking about. Just it's easier to try to repeat hitting singles than it is trying to hit home runs all the time. Rob, someone in the chat's asking why high US dollar is bad for stocks. Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't trade into dollar, but it's just a matter of what businesses wind up spending. Its cost is all it comes down to from a bottom line. But I don't really focus on it because for me, I don't care.
Got it. I just know there are a lot of economists and whatnot out there that are looking at the US dollar right now saying
too expensive.
A high US dollar is bad for equities. Cindy, I'll do some research on that tonight. What the relationship is between the price of the US dollar and what that has on US stocks, US equities. Jeff Strong saying there's no sight of control over inflation compounded by record US dollar losing competitive. So yeah, we'll see.
And
Rob,
having parity with the euro now.
Yep. Rob, always a pleasure to get you on the show. I dropped that Trading Like a Boss link in the chat. If there's anything else you'd like to let our audience know about, now's your time.
Excellent. Guys, go to that tradinglikeaboss.com. On the bottom, this is all free resources here. You'll see Trade with Rob. These trades that I was talking about, the switchback, we send emails out when those trade setups trigger. So you'll get an email that says, hey, look at these candidates. They're setting up right now. Again, it's a free resource. Take advantage of it. Aaron, I appreciate you having me on again today.
Always. It's our pleasure, man.
Excellent. Well, you be good, and we will catch you next week.
All right. Take care, Rob. Stay green.
All right.
All right, guys. That was Rob Roy. Go hit that Trading Like a Boss link in the chat to get more from Rob. A great resource for all of your trading needs. All right, guys. I'm going to check our Google form, our BZ Live mailbox submission. See if anyone has submitted anything there today. And that will be a wrap for the show today. We've got about a few minutes left. So if there's anything else, all right, responses. Going to responses. We've got 2 responses. All right. Wow. Okay. The 2 responses are very different. These are anonymous, by the way. You can submit whatever you would like, and no one will, be able to know. All right. I went down a rabbit hole on an ecosystem of 4 companies to create a short report on 1/4. I can only assume that means January 4th. There are 2 scenarios when I make it public. Since you are a smaller news company, I'm hoping I'm doing the right thing with this. However, if the system is truly corrupt, I don't expect to succeed. After all, if the world cares about criminals, the list would have been public. We're living through a pivotal moment in human history to pass enlightenment of the mind or degrade back to our basic animal instincts. I prefer the latter. Might be a mistake. Wait, the latter in this situation would be back to our human instincts. The former would be enlightenment of the mind. Okay. I don't really know. I'm just gonna share this because I don't really know how's my old partner doing with his move. I don't know. I haven't talked to Spence in a minute. I was talking to him the other day about the whole Voyager thing because we used to advertise for Voyager. All right, I don't know what to. I mean, whoever out there that wrote this in, please connect with me. I'm down to have a conversation. We can make it as anonymous as you want, but I went down a rabbit hole on an ecosystem of 4 companies to create a short report. There are 2 scenarios. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to help you make this short report public, assuming we can vet it and look at it and see it. So interesting. Do I like canned tuna? Bullish on canned tuna. I actually don't mind canned tuna. Like, I'm not gonna eat canned tuna plain, but if you make some good tuna salad with, yeah, they also spell letter. If you're gonna make some tuna salad, throw some celeries in there, get some crunch going. Like, it's solid. I think I prefer chicken salad to tuna salad. But I'm not gonna hate on canned tuna. I do think you're kind of psycho if you bring like a can of tuna into a crowded office and eat it for lunch, or like open some in an Uber or something. But yeah, I mean, can't hate on tuna. It's very high protein. If you're out there trying to bulk on, put some muscle on, put some weight on, you got to eat some tuna. It's what you got to do. You don't really have a choice. Yeah, Goldman Sachs is just insane strength today. Yesterday, we were positive in NASDAQ, like 1.5% and closed down 1%. I wouldn't be buying this at level. I do that. Cindy, you're talking about eating tuna in a crowded room. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't even think that's a huge deal. I think some people are more they get more upset by the smell of tuna than other people. So I would just be aware of it. In a room of 10 people, maybe 3 of them might really hate the smell of canned tuna, but the other 7 might not mind. So you do you, Cindy. I'm not saying don't do you. You do you. All right, guys. That will be a wrap for us today. We will be back not tomorrow because we do have our boot camp tomorrow. Let me plug that real quick. So our boot camp, let me get a link to join the boot camp. Here we go. You can go straight to our bz.com/events website. I will be, not gonna lie, the tuna thing was me. All right, well, Lord Byron, keep thinking of more. That submission form will be there, so you guys can submit as much as you want in there. We'll take a look at some more questions, and mailbag tomorrow. So, yeah. All right, benzinga.com/events. We will be having our boot camp tomorrow. Again, this is your 1-day kind of training workshop. If you're getting new to trading, you guys are new to investing, this is your place to be. We will take you from zero to hero by the end of the boot camp. We've got a big list of special teachers, Christian Fromhertz, Nick Shaheen, Mark Petrino. We've got the whole gang together tomorrow. I'll be there. Zunaid will be there. Who knows who will show up? Potentially Allen Iverson. I don't know. I'm hearing some rumors on the street. So sign up for benzinga.com/events for that boot camp tomorrow. I'll see you guys there. And we will be back on Thursday for another episode of Benzinga Live. Till then, stay happy, stay green. Love you guys.
This is Ben